What is up? What is up? What is up? Let me get a few things situated here. Get my chat messed up on me. Bear with me one moment. Just vibe out here for a second. Trying to fix this chat. It's like backwards because I'm multi-streaming. We'll figure this out. Okay. What is up, people? What is going on? Here we go. Settling in here now. I was actually able to do a. What got me confused there, I think I was able to actually do a poll in the vertical chat, which is typically not a thing. So, sup, Artie? Artie Salamander. Yo, have you seen that new game? Well, I don't know if it's real new, but a bunch of people are like super into it. The Ball Pit, I think. I saw a bunch of people playing Ball Pit today. A bunch of streamers. I was actually thinking about doing it because it looks like it's kind of up my speed. That's awesome for you to swing back by again, Artie. I appreciate that. I feel like... Let me see. I think I need to do this backwards. I don't need a poll on that. I need a poll on this. You ready for this? I love making these polls. Like entertains myself, I think, more than anything. So yeah, if you are in the chat and you see that poll, make sure you vote. That's all I'm gonna say. I am playing music in the background. Yep. Is it too loud? I'm still kind of jamming a little bit. No, I'm a widow baby. Somebody voted I'm a widow baby. So the bummer thing is, Artie, I have to pay for a subscription to this this website that does all royalty-free, copyright-free stuff, or else I get flagged by YouTube. because I would love to play like music that I like really enjoy, but unfortunately, that's when you get the copyright strikes and they kind of hit you. They're not gentle. They're not gentle on you. But suggest a song and I'll listen to it off stream for sure. Yeah, I'll listen to it off stream for sure. Yeah, I know. It's a wicked pain. All that stuff, all the copyright stuff is just like, it's just ridiculous because the way I look at it is if people are like listening to songs and liking it, then what the hell's the difference in the radio? You know what I mean? Like this is modern times here. They need to get with it. There we go. Can hear myself talk a little bit now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely suggest me a song. I'll listen to it off stream because I love hearing new music and finding out about new music. I forget, Artie, did you say you're in the US? So we have I'm probably biased, but we have some good topics tonight. So what we're gonna do here is we're just we're vibing out for a minute, just kind of hanging, letting people roll in, letting the everything propagate. Because I always like announce to the social networks and stuff that that I went live. So it takes a couple minutes for people to filter in. So once they filter in, though, we got some good topics. But first, we'll probably react to a couple videos. I want to talk about something that happened at TwitchCon last week, I think, or this weekend or whatever it was. I want to talk about that, and then we'll react to some other videos, and then we'll hit the two topics tonight. So as you can see on the screen, topics tonight are weaponized sympathy and not needing permission to live your life. So those are like the two main topics that we will hit. Artie, my style of music is kind of all over the place. I like rock, I like electronic music, I like hip hop, it's pretty much all over the place. And honestly, like I don't mind new stuff either, So if you introduce me to something new, then I'll definitely be appreciative of it. There we go. Alternative pop. All right. Blurry Nights. Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's good because like if it's in the chat, then I can just go watch the replay and I can find it. I don't have to like remember it or write it down. So that's pretty cool. I dig that. Yep. I dig that. What's everybody else up to? Hanging out? Chilling? Make sure my announcements went live here. Oh, nice. 2286. So throughout the evening, I'm going to be updating this little, like, where is it? Right here. This is the current subscriber goal. Or not goal, but just the current subscribers. I'm pretty sure last Thursday we were talking about hitting 1,000 subscribers, and now we hit 2,000 subscribers, and probably before you know it, we're going to be at 2,500. So definitely big thank you to everybody who watches every week and subscribes. I'm glad, I'm glad. I'm glad that I can just basically get on a mic and talk and connect with people and, have it change your day. Hopefully it makes your day. So let's change that number. What was it again? 86? 86. Perfect. Boom. Perfect. You're attacking your friends in Minecraft. Nice. Well, hey, thanks for popping in. I appreciate it, Artie. You have a good night, okay? Hopefully Minecraft's fun. In Minecraft, And I'll definitely check out that song for sure. All right. Sweet. It's rolling now. I gotta check something here. What is happening? There we go. All right, cool. I just need to make sure that the vertical stream was going because it was being a little weird. But yeah, looks like it's working as intended. Good. Good. Turn this music down a little bit more. Then we're going to get into reacting to some things here in a second, I think. Because that's always fun. That is always fun. Yeah. So yeah, so what we're gonna watch here in a minute here is something that happened at TwitchCon, which was pretty unfortunate. But like everybody else is talking, we're gonna probably cover everything that everybody else is talking about too. But one of the things that I want to talk about is just, man, I'm gonna show it to you, and then we're gonna talk about, the decline of masculinity in America, and just, it's more and more every day. It's becoming like more apparent that masculinity is not what it used to be, which is unfortunate. But I also think that some people are happy about that, but I think that it's not a good thing. I think it's not a good thing, and I think most of I think time will tell and prove that it is not a good thing. But unfortunately, right now, we're playing an unfortunate waiting game. So, it's kind of one of those things is we're probably going to realize it after the fact, you know what I mean? Like after we I don't know. It's already happening, like in dating. Women are already like, where are all the good men and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you know, they're out there. Okay. Let's do it. Let me kill this music real quick. Boom. Kill that. Boom. Expand this.
But
pause this. Okay, so what we're gonna listen to here is this is like a pretty clean clip that I can find. I think it's gonna show the whole thing, and then we can kind of react off of it. So let me cue this up here and make this big. Okay, so what we're gonna watch is a clip that happened at TwitchCon where a woman, basically a streamer, a female streamer, she basically gets, I'm not saying basically, she gets sexually assaulted, right? And it's clear, it's blatant, everything like that. But what I want to talk about is the reaction, right? The reaction. So let's watch it. It's like 2 minutes long, I think, if that. And it's Asmongold, who's another streamer. He's just reacting. He's just reacting to it. And let me make sure I got it pulled up here. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do this. What's up, Transfer? How's it going? How is it going? Hi from Germany again. It's crazy. Crazy. We get so many people from Germany. It's crazy. Do you guys sleep over there? All right, let's get into it. Let's watch this real quick.
But whenever I ended my stream, I saw a message. It was Emmy saying this had happened. Then this video came out, and thank God it came out, because now we can see what happened. So you can see... And what had happened is this person came up to her. They were in another meet and greet line. They skipped over the line. The security let them go through. This person then tries to go and grab her, right? He tries to grab her. So Imaru did have a security guard, but TwitchCon had banned that security guard from going to the event. Twitch security lets streamers bypass multiple checkpoints, no questions asked.
Meeting him up front.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did what? Okay.
Oh, okay. Just
Pay attention to that guy that says has
TwitchCon
the shirt crew
allegedly
on it.
snuck into Imaru's applicant-only meet and greet line.
I might as well tell you guys what the fuck I actually did to get into the line. Hey, I snuck in. I don't know what else to say.
A person with malicious intent was allowed to approach a creator with no vetting and no security. Twitch lying about it. They lied in their statement about it. The safety and security of all those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. In line with existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. I'm going to just read what she said. In Twitch's statement, they said the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, but that is a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear that he was caught until hours after he attacked me. And it felt like this only happened because my manager was pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff thought it was a big deal. I want to repeat myself. It's even worse than this. News footage surfaced of the man who assaulted Imaru freely walking outside of TwitchCon. Whenever Twitch said that they immediately took action, they lied. And they lied to everybody. And the reason why they lied to you is because they think you're a fucking retard. Twitch is very clearly mismanaged at every single level.
Yeah,
they can't fix the website's functionality. They can't moderate the platform. They can't keep furry pedophiles off the platform. They can't keep violent harassers and away from their top female streamers. Dang. They can't do anything. At what point as a CEO are you responsible for this? At what point?
Okay. So let me see if I can find like a good shot of this. Okay. All right. So you can see the girl is standing next to somebody, right? And that's a fan, and that's a guy. And the problem with that is that he's not the type of guy that is going to jump in and defend her, right? He's just not. He's standing there, and like, no, I'm not knocking this guy because this is a problem with just society in general. That guy who's standing there with blue hair and, I don't know, 50-ish plus pounds overweight, he's a gamer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a gamer. But the problem is there's more men out there like him than there is like me. And that is starting to become a problem because the other guy was able to walk up to this streamer, attempt to kiss her, and that guy is standing there talking to her that has the blue hair and the the belly, just was like, oh, confrontation, oh, and that's just not the way that it's supposed to work, you know? I feel like for years and years and years, it was always men had the role of being a protector, right? And it doesn't really matter if, like, in current society, women don't need protecting anymore, because obviously they clearly do, right? But it's like, what is this saying about our country and our society that most men look like him and act like him nowadays? Now, remember when I was saying they're remember the let me see if I can find it in the video. Where is that guy? This dude. Okay. This guy right here that has the crew shirt on, the yellow crew shirt.
Thank you.
What?
Okay. This guy. He is this guy over here. He's Twitch's security. Those security are responsible for people's safety. Does that guy look like he has ever been in a fight before? Does it look like he even knows how to defend himself versus being able to protect anybody else? You know? Does he make you feel secure at an event that nothing's bad is going to happen to you because, hey, don't worry, there's this guy. Don't worry, this guy right here, he's going to attack and tackle somebody that's causing trouble, you know? And like I said, like, I'm a gamer, so I've been to conventions before. Like, this is at TwitchCon. I've been to conventions before that is similar to TwitchCon. I've been to PAX East, actually. And excuse me, and I know exactly who these guys are. They're just gamers. You know what I mean? They're just people that, a lot of them are volunteers. They're just volunteers that's like, hey, they get to be at the event without having to pay usually, but he does not make anyone feel secure, okay? He doesn't. Absolutely does not. And I remember, a little bit of a side note here, when I went to one of the last PAX East conventions that I went to was like right after the pandemic, okay? And it was in that weird time where, like, you could start going to things and like being out and about, but like large gatherings you still had to have your mask, and I remember at this last PAX East, this like really kind of made me lose respect for them, but I'm pretty sure I know why they did it, and we'll talk about that afterwards. But so they were like very strict, you had to have your mask on, and it had to be above your nose. You couldn't have your fucking nose dong hanging out, right? So, but they had guys like this dude in the yellow, okay? They had guys like him, and his sole job was to go around and make sure that everybody was wearing their mask. And they even went so far as to put out an app. They had the app before, but like you could pull out the app and you could report mask violations. Okay. And it was so specific. You pull out the app and there was a section that was like, where, go, and I'm going to report a mask violation. And you'd be like, floor 2, wing E, out in front of booth 16, man wearing red shirt and backwards hat. And I think it was even like, is the mask fully down or is the nose exposed? Like they went like super into it. And then what you would do is you would report, you hit report, and freaking a guy like this dude right here would come out and he would chase you down. Excuse me, sir, excuse me, excuse me, pardon me. You got your, I can see your nostrils. I can see your nostrils hanging out there. You gotta abide by the rules. Pop Tylenol. You know what I'm saying? You gotta abide by the rules. Oh, my allergies, right? And it's just like, all right, bro. Like, okay, calm down, right? Like it was so obnoxious. So I know for a fact what these people are like at the TwitchCon events, and I really think why PAX East did that whole thing about the mask thing was probably more than likely something to do with insurance. Like probably insurance was like, yeah, you can have this event, but if anybody catches COVID, like you're fucked or whatever. But it's where's the masculinity? Where's the masculine men? Where's the guy who's gonna step up and be like, get the fuck away from her, you creep? Like it's just, I don't know. It's just something else. Like something's in the water or something. I go back and forth with why I think it's declining like that. And I think some of it has to do with there's just not a lot of incentive for men to not be like that guy, blue-haired gamer, belly, you know what I mean? Like there's no incentive for men to not be like that anymore, because like we have jobs now where we can typically earn a living just sitting at a desk, and so then you don't even have to be like in physical shape for your job. And then most of these guys aren't even getting dates anyways, so it's like, why be physically fit for women? So they're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat some pizza and live my best life, happy and fat. And it's like, hey, I'm not totally knocking it, because if I was in that situation, maybe I would do that too. But it's not good for the country. That's for sure. It's not like where we want society to go. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say like, oh, what if we get invaded? It's like, well, I don't know. Maybe like probably that's not going to happen. But if we get a lot of these people, like, they couldn't even run a mile. You know what I mean? Couldn't even run a mile. It's all right. We have Ozempic now. We have Ozempic. Ozempic will fix everything. Ozempic will fix everything. Everybody will be like, I don't even know I can do it. It's the Ozempic face. Right? You always know, like, I think it's, for whatever reason, I think it's easier to tell on women, like when they're on Ozempic. Maybe not. Maybe there's just not as many men on Ozempic. I don't really know. But they get that like sunken in, like, face. They get like this look, And it doesn't really look very healthy. So, but I actually heard that there was like coming out with another thing that's like, this is like completely off topic, but we're talking about obesity, I guess. But I think they're coming out with this other, I don't know, I don't want to call it like a variant, but like something similar to Ozempic now that does not actually cause as much of like the muscle wasting and bone density loss and stuff like that. So hey, like, listen, I am not against Ozempic. Okay. I'm not against Ozempic. I'm not against BBLs and fake tits and fake lips. I'm not against it. I don't like it. I don't like it's not my jam. But you know what I really don't like is someone acting like they fucking earned it. You didn't earn shit. Okay. You know? Like it's so weird. Like you like go on Instagram or something like that, and you can always tell, like, you know, well, there's not a lot of dudes that have fake tits, but like you can always tell if a woman has fake boobs, she is so proud of them. It's like no matter what, it's like in your face, in your face, in your face, and it's like, hey, like, the most you did was work for those, like at your job, but even then, I don't know because sometimes it always happens after a divorce, and you know that there was a settlement. So a lot of times your ex-husband bought those for you, so you can't even really be proud of those. You know, it's like, look, if you worked hard and you dropped a whole bunch of weight, good. Be proud of it. You can be proud of it. But if you're off, all you're doing is just popping Ozempic and acting like you're better than everybody else, you know, whatever, whatever. Don't act like you like grew your boobs either. You know, you didn't grow those things. Personally, I think like a BBL is like the most retarded shit ever. Like what is like what is the deal? What is the deal? Like you look like you have a diaper. And you know, and like it's like the certain type of it's like a certain type of person that goes out and gets a BBL, and it's the one that doesn't want to work for it. You know what I mean? They don't want to put in the hours in the gym to grow their glutes, so they're just like, you know what, like just freaking stuff some Play-Doh back there. Let's go. But then you can always tell because they didn't like in order to have glutes, you have to have hamstrings, right? And most of the time, if you have hamstrings, you have defined quads. So when you look at a woman, and again, probably dudes have BBLs too, I guess. I don't really know. But if you look at a woman and it's like she has a full diaper, but yet little chicken legs, like looks like maybe, you know, going up and down the stairs a couple times would make her tired, you know, that shit ain't real. You know, it ain't real. You know? You know it ain't real. That's for sure. Herbie, do they have BBLs over in Germany? They have them over there. I have no idea. I don't know if that's just like an American thing or not. Probably not. It's probably worldwide. Worldwide. And then the crazy thing too about BBLs and like I've seen like pictures of this, but again, I could have got trolled. It could have not been true. I don't know. But like I saw a video one time of this woman. She was on a plane, and this is before like AI started making realistic videos. So like, it's not AI, but she's on a plane, and she like, you know, she like holds up her phone, and she's like recording the plane, and there's so many women that have to sit a certain way on the flight back from like Brazil, I think. They can't sit on their ass or else it ruins the surgery that they just had. I'm fearful to show you how they sit because I'm pretty sure I've flipped my chair over and I don't want to do that on live stream. So, but basically they have to sit like facing the wrong way with their knees in the seat and like their hands like on the back of the seat, like looking backwards down the plane. And on this one plane, there was like 8 women that had to sit like that. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I have no idea how that looks as an older lady, you know? Because like fake boobs still look okay on an older woman, but at the same time, it just becomes more obvious, you know, that they're fake. Like when they're young, you're like, are those fake? I don't know. Those look pretty fake. And then they're like 65 with them still up here, and you're like, that's fake. Fake ass bitch. So then I don't know what happens with a BBL when a woman ages. all I can picture is like my time working in the nursing home for a little while, like pushing pushing some old lady, and she's just, she's got a donk on her, and it's like, oh boy, I bet you were a wild one when you were younger. You know, I bet you were a wild one when you were younger, Tammy. Yeah. That's my little rant on that. That was like completely off topic, But hey, it is what it is. Let me see what the next video is here. I haven't watched any of these videos, so when I react to them, it's truly just my reaction. So the next one that I have queued up is Matthew McConaughey. All right. He's talking about something to do with masculinity. And I'm always we'll see how I feel about this, because I'm always torn on Mr. McConaughey. Cuz like from the outside, he looks like he kind of looks like a man's man, right? But he's an actor. It's his job to be able to portray whatever he's portraying. So I feel like I'm torn with him when he talks about like relationships and masculinity and what it's like to be a man, because like I like him as an actor and his interviews are great, but sometimes I'm like, oh, it's so hard to trust you because this is what you do for a living. You pretend for a living, you know? You know who else pretends for a living? Politicians. I don't really trust them either. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So Herbie says plastic surgeries are kind of a pandemic in between reality shows, etc. Yeah. No, I agree. And I kind of wonder too, like there are certain things that men can get for plastic surgery, like like freaking ab implants and calf implants and stuff like that. You just don't see it as often. And that's very interesting, and I would like love to dig into that a little bit. Like what is it about plastic surgery and stuff like that that is so appealing uh to women versus to men? And I like the very surface level answer that I think of in my mind is that um women are typically judged by their beauty and their looks. And you would think that I'm talking about men judging them. That happens, but what I'm really talking about is women judging women. Y'all are mean to each other. So mean. All these beauty standards and shit like that. Everybody's like, the unrealistic beauty standards. Yeah, you know who that comes from? You guys. You all. You might be doing it to compete with men, but no man is like, hey, babe, can you please take 3 hours again to get ready for us to go to Applebee's? That was fun. Like, hey, I know you did 4 coats last time, but like, I feel like you need 5. Like that doesn't happen. But what does happen is a bunch of women get around, they look at each other and go, oh my God, what is she even wearing? How? Oh my God. Do you even see her? Right? So that's who women are competing against. So, anyways, their hierarchy and their social status and stuff depends a lot on looks compared to men. Men, it's more like it's about what we can provide, which is also has its own set of shit that comes with it. But it's like, I can look like complete shit, and as long as I'm still bringing in a fat paycheck, my worth is still like high, And unfortunately, that just doesn't work that way for women. But yeah, it is a little bit of an epidemic, and it's crazy. Like it's crazy when I'm on Instagram and I'm just like scrolling around or whatever, and I see somebody and I see like a female, and sometimes I just like to see if I'm right, and I'm like, I bet she has an OnlyFans. I can tell by the pictures that she's posting and what she's trying to like get across, and I'll be like, let's go see. And I'll be like, click, click, and I'll see the OF link. I'm like, yeah, thought so. And the unfortunate thing is it's like bled into fitness culture. You know what I mean? It's almost like now they're like, hey, while I'm working on this body, I might as well like side gig. I might as well have an OF. But anyways, got super sidetracked there. Let's hear what Matthew McConaughey says about um masculinity. It's on manhood. So let's see what he says.
And my father passing on, the world got flat. Things that I revered, mortal things that I revered, people, places, all of a sudden, my eye got level. Things that I was patronizing and condescending and looking down my nose at rose up to eye level. And I was like, time to become a man. Walk forward, peripheral vision. Get it. Own yourself. Walk forward with more courage and start becoming the man you want to be instead of acting like it and putting it off.
See you, Herbie. Okay. Okay. Um. All right. So if I was to think about what he was trying to say there, I would say he was probably talking about his own mortality. It sounds like when he passed away, it sounds like sorry, when his dad passed away, he started seeing things differently. And I don't know when his dad passed away, but I do know that there comes a time when I think it's probably like right around like 40s for men, and that's why they call it like the midlife crisis. But I think all of a sudden you start really realizing your mortality. You know what I mean? You're like, dang, like I am gonna die one day. We all are gonna die one day. But when that like clicks, because when you're younger, I think this is like an evolutionary thing, but like when you're younger, you don't really like you're gonna die one day, but it's almost like death and injury and stuff like that happens to other people, you know? It's something that happens to other people. And then you hit a certain age where you're like, shit. It's happened to a lot of people that I know that are right around me. And it becomes like you're just like you're looking at it like, oh, hello, you know? And suddenly you just realize that it can happen. Like you can die, you can get hurt. And I don't know what that flip is, like why that happens. But once it does happen, you really do start to look at things differently. It's almost like you start to look at things like he was saying certain things that he used to scoff at or didn't matter suddenly mattered. Um like those little things, Like it like happens overnight. Like, all right. I mean, like, okay. So I went from this is so here's an example that just popped into my mind. Okay. 10 years ago, like I've always gone camping. I've always liked to camp. And in high school, camping meant I was getting hammered in some field, playing beer pong and jumping over bonfires and throwing paint cans and the fires and you know what I mean? Like whatever. Like just wiling out. You know what I mean? Now, That's right. Probably like a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I found an app on my phone that will allow me to identify birds based on their calls. So now when I'm out camping, I'm like, what is that? Is that a warbler? Oh, let me get my phone. Oh, let me get my phone. Is that a warbler? Oh, it is. Oh, sweet. I better not have another one of these IPAs or I'll get heartburn. So, for whatever reason, like that hit me at some point, and I was like, damn. It's like, wow, times have changed. Times have changed for sure. And it is what it is, but like for whatever reason, that switch happens and like your priorities in life change for sure. And I bet like if I had kids that like that change would revolve around them more, but it's just, just me. Just me and my bird app, checking them off the list. Old man shit. Now, would I go back? Like, would I go back to being that high schooler jumping over fires and all that stuff? I would do it if I could like do it for a week. You know what I mean? Like, and then not like I don't need that much. You know what I mean? Like I don't need to go back there and like relive it all. Cause there's a lot of bad stuff in there too, But boy, if I could just go back with all the knowledge that I have now about how life works and everything, I would if I could go back as a jiu-jitsu black belt, oh yeah, that'd be fun too. That'd be fun. Yeah, if I could just go back with the knowledge that I have now and do whatever in that moment, but it like wouldn't mess up my timeline for my future, like I could just like jump back in, fuck around, and then like go back to living my life. Absolutely. I would Jesus. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. For sure. All right, let's see what the next video is. I almost forgot what I have queued up here, so let me just take a look. All right, so this is a little bit of a longer one, so we're gonna kind of like talk about it as we go. Let me get it set up here. Okay. So this one is called 7 Things Men Do when they have completely given up on love. And yeah, I'm curious about this one. It looked cool, looked like a good topic. So yeah, we'll give it a shot. But this one will probably be one where I pause and chat about things a little bit.
There's a certain quiet that takes over a man when he's decided somewhere deep down that he's done with love. It isn't an angry silence, it's not loud or dramatic, it's an empty kind of quiet. It's the feeling of someone who has fought one too many losing battles and has finally laid down their weapons. He could be sitting right across from you, present in body, but emotionally he's a ghost. After a series of heartbreaks, after pouring himself into relationships that fell apart, a once hopeful man can learn to guard his heart so fiercely it becomes a fortress. He won't announce his retirement from romance. He'll just show you. You'll see it in how he works, how he talks, and how he keeps everyone at a carefully measured distance. These aren't the signs of a man who is angry at the world. They're the far more tragic signs of a man who is mourning a future he no longer believes he can have.
Yeah. I think this one's going to be pretty deep. I think it's going to be good because now whether you're at this stage in your life right now, maybe not, but I feel like it's a pretty like it's almost like a guarantee that I can say that if you have not been at this point in your life yet, you will. And that's sad in its own way. You know what I mean?
Today, we're breaking down the 7 things men often do when they've silently given up on love. He becomes a ghost in his own life. The first and most telling sign is that he masters the art of being present and absent at the same time. Psychologists call this emotional withdrawal, but
like
in
being numb.
day-to-day life, it just feels like he's checked out. He might still be a great friend or a functional partner. He shows up, he makes conversation, he goes through the motions, but the spark is gone. You'll know.
I think that happens to a lot of men. They lose the spark. They had the spark, and then, like, I won't say that, you know, it's all, you know, the fault of women and relationships breaking and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of things. I think the spark dies because of breakups and betrayal and relationships and all that stuff. But then also, I think the spark dies for a lot of men when they realize kind of what this life is all about. Yeah. That's difficult. And I think we get sold this dream as men, like, growing up, that, like, our purpose in life is to, like, I don't know, find a princess, right? And then maybe you never find a princess because, like, most men are having trouble even getting dates. Okay. So let's say you're one of those men. Now you're like, I'm just going to be alone forever, you know? And so you're bitter at the world and your spark is gone. You might go to work and all that stuff, but you're just sort of like, what's the point? On the flip side, there's men that found their princess that they thought, right? And then she did something absolutely fucking horrible to him. And he's like, what's the point? You know?
Notice conversations become purely practical. He'll talk about his job, bills, or what to have for dinner. But if you try to talk about feelings, hopes, or fears, the very things that build a real connection, a wall goes up. It's not hostile, it's just blank. He might just shrug, change the topic, or say, I don't know.
I actually had a conversation with a friend the other day, maybe yesterday, and I was talking to him and I was like, it's really weird. Like, I feel like I have the ability to be fairly, I can self-reflect and I'm fairly, like, introspective and all that stuff. But if you were just to, like, randomly ask me, like, hey, how do you feel right now? Like, describe your emotions that you're feeling right now. Most of the time, I would be like, I don't know. Uh, Normal, right? And I think that that's like, I think that's probably how a lot of men feel, because I think probably our baseline is fairly flat, you know, like, just because we're not emotional creatures, it doesn't mean we don't have emotions. It just means emotions for us serve different purposes, right? You know, like, and it's all like evolution. So if we go back to caveman days, um, my ability to get angry like that, angry enough to blindly risk my life because of something, that's useful. Back then, if I got sad or I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of the other emotions that women have. They have way more emotions and they have way more of a spectrum of emotion, right? But if you took that skill set, those set of emotions, and you put it into a man back in caveman days, guess what? He fucking died. Okay. Those didn't do anything for him. Aggression, anger, logic, reasoning, those are the things that kept men alive. So now when we go to today, there's not really that much danger. There's really not that much purpose. There's really no need to get mad at a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like it's just, so then we just are level. We're like, do, 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 do. But it's not the best feeling in the world, to be honest.
He avoids vulnerability because in his experience, vulnerability is a trapdoor that leads straight to pain. This isn't just about avoiding deep talks. You can see it physically too. The spontaneous hugs, the casual touches, the hand holding, they all start to fade. Intimacy might become a scheduled event, or it disappears entirely.
Mm-hmm.
Psychologists point out that this kind of indifference is often more damaging to a relationship than open anger. Anger, at least, shows he's still engaged. Indifference is a sign he has resigned.
Well, it's kind of like again, it's sort of back to that, like, what's the point, right? So if we're thinking, all right, what is the point of going that extra step to express myself or to ask for something that is like my needs, you know what I mean? Just to have it get shut down or poo-pooed or acted like it doesn't really matter or whatever. Like if you think about it, if you think about how many times that you have heard like women say, all men want is sex. Okay. Well, it's not true. However, if like all men want sex, we can assume that it's pretty goddamn important for men. It's up there on the list of our needs. So to have society and our partners basically be like, yeah, your top need, we don't care. But let me tell you about my needs. Okay, so I need you to go do this and mow the lawn, and I would really like a chicken coop, and I would like you to buy me a boat, and blah, blah, blah. And then just openly be able to shit on men's like top need. Okay. Let me go mow the lawn.
He has emotionally clocked out. He isn't trying to hurt you. In his mind, he may actually be trying to protect both of you by keeping a distance he believes will prevent an inevitable crash. His career becomes his entire kingdom. When the world of love feels painful and chaotic, a man who has given up will often pour all his energy into the one area where the rules make sense and hard work usually pays off. His career.
Exactly.
This isn't just about...
Exactly, because I don't know if he's going to make this connection or not, but think about that. In most cases, at least back in the day, because it's shitty now, but like back in the day, you work hard, there's progress, you get rewarded, you get a raise, your life gets better, your hours get better, your schedule works better. You know, you like put in effort, things get better. However, like if we go back to the needs thing, men can only do so much for so long without getting their needs met before they're like, what the fuck is this game? Like, why am I even playing this game? Right? I do all these things at home, but it doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't help me at all, you know? And it's hard to keep playing that game. And the same thing, you're starting to see the same thing happen in jobs now too. People are like, what the hell? Like, I'm spending all these hours like grinding at this job and what, for my 2% raise every year? Oh, next week, I guess, next year it bumps me up to 2 weeks of paid vacation. Woo! You know? So just that outlook, I think women can understand that outlook. Like it makes sense to them. Okay. Apply that in the house. Apply it in the house. Think of how many times you ask your husband to help you with something. think how many times he asks you to help him with something. It's probably very lopsided. I doubt your husband's asking you to help him mow the lawn or to build a fence around the garden or whatever, right? I guarantee you're asking him for help more often. However, probably still downplay his needs when it comes to sex.
Being a workaholic, it's a strategic retreat, a place to rebuild his sense of self-worth. Think about it. In love, you can give your all and end up with nothing. In a career, the formula is often much simpler. Work hard, and you'll likely see results.
Yep.
You get the promotion, close the deal, or build the company. For a man tired of heartbreak, that predictability is incredibly appealing. You'll see his work life expand to fill all the empty spaces. He's the first one in the office and the last to leave. Weekends are for catching up on emails, not for going out. He might talk about his work with a passion that's missing from every other part of his life. His colleagues become his main social circle.
It's all about that purpose. He's putting in effort. He's getting something out of it. He's getting a reward. He's getting encouragement. Yes, you close that deal. You know, you're going to get a raise next year. You did good. Keep doing that. The other way around, when it flips to love, it's like, do all these things and you still might lose your kids in a divorce.
And his professional wins are his only source of validation. This is a classic form of escapism, burying himself in work to avoid his emotional life. This shift is common. Society has long taught men that their value is tied to being a provider. So, when a man feels like he's failed at relationships, he often doubles down on the one area where he feels he can succeed. His job is no longer just a job, it's his fortress, a kingdom where he's in control. Unlike the unpredictable world of love, he develops a deep-seated cynicism about love. A man who's given up doesn't just stop looking for love, he starts to believe it's a naive or foolish game. A deep cynicism takes hold, not as a bad mood, but as a core belief. This isn't just playful banter after a few bad dates. It's the bitter outlook of someone who has decided love is a sham. You'll hear it in the way he talks. He'll make dismissive jokes about romance, calling it a waste of time or a setup for failure. When he sees happy couples, he doesn't think, that's nice. He thinks, I wonder how long that will last. He might say things like, love is just a chemical reaction that fades, or all relationships end, so what's the point? This cynicism is a shield. By deciding love is an illusion, he protects himself from the pain of it not working out again. This attitude is often made worse by modern dating. The endless swiping on dating apps can make people feel disposable. After enough ghosting and superficial chats, it's easy to feel like the whole system is rigged. In fact, studies have shown that the constant rejection on these apps can lead to lower self-esteem, especially for men.
Of course.
What's really happening is a form of
And that's not even like that constant rejection. Men are so much better at taking rejection because it happens all the freaking time to us, right? But I don't even think most women even understand that. Like, they might experience rejection if they shoot their shot, which I hardly ever even do, but if they shoot their shot like at a 9, they might get rejected. But they need to flip it around and look at how many 7s they are rejecting. You know what I mean? Every time they reject a 7 and they're like, ew. Those people are human. Those guys are real. They have real feelings and real emotions. And they get rejected all the time, you know?
Intellectualized grief. Instead of admitting, I'm hurt and lonely, which takes a lot of vulnerability, it's easier to take a detached, cynical stance that says, I'm too smart to fall for that. His social circle shrinks to an echo chamber. When a man gives up on finding a partner, it often affects his friendships too. His social circle starts to shrink, becoming a small, carefully managed echo chamber. It's not a conscious choice to become a hermit. It's a slow retreat to avoid emotional triggers.
It's very true.
He'll stop going to parties or other gatherings where he might meet someone. The energy it takes to be charming and open feels draining because he no longer sees the point. Why put in the effort when he's convinced it will only lead to more disappointment?
Mm-hmm.
He might also start pulling away from friends who are in happy relationships. It's not that he's unhappy for them. It's that being around their joy is a painful reminder of what he feels he's lost. To protect himself, he might start making excuses to miss dinners or dodge phone calls. His remaining friends are often single people who share his cynical views, or old friends he can keep things superficial with.
That's true. But
These
also,
relationships
like, as you
feel
get,
safe because they don't challenge his new...
as you get to a certain age, like most people, like at my age, in my 40s, like if I'm going out somewhere, 9 times out of 10, I'm bringing my partner with me. My girlfriend's coming with me, right? And I'm sure that's even more so if somebody is married, right? So then if you're the single guy, it's very hard to not fall into that trap of only hanging out with other single guys. And then most likely you are all fairly cynical because you don't have that counterbalance of like the other couples coming out too. Cause like, you know, you don't like to be a third wheel. It's pretty obnoxious, but yeah, I think that's just kind of how it
new
goes.
reality. This social withdrawal is part of a much bigger struggle. The friendship recession is a real phenomenon, with men reporting fewer close friends than ever before.
100%.
A 2021 survey found that 15% of men said they had 0 close friends, a 5-fold increase from 1990.
Yep.
This isolation is a known risk factor for depression,
Yeah.
making it
We're
even
social
harder for
creatures.
him to ever find his way back. He masters the art of the superficial connection. Ironically, a man who has given up on deep love can sometimes seem more charming and social than ever, but only on the surface. He becomes a master of the superficial connection, the witty banter, the flirty texts, the fun but hollow first date. It's a defense mechanism designed to get the validation of romantic interest without any of the risk.
Ooh, yeah.
He's the guy.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. It's like if you, and I think girls do this quite a bit too, probably more than guys, but like women are usually talking, like if they're single, they're usually talking to a bunch of guys. More than one, typically. But that doesn't mean they have, and like if you press them on it and you ask them about it, it's like, oh, well, all those guys that I would never actually go on a date with don't count. It's like, no, you're still talking to them like that, flirting, passing the time because you're bored. They count. They count. You know, you might not be talking to anybody that you want to talk with, like and pursue, but you are always chatting with at least one or two guys that are interested in you. Men, the flip side of that's pretty lonely, you know? However, I know exactly what this is like because it's like when you're in that stage, and I've been in that stage before where like right after a breakup, there's been times where like I don't want to even go through like the energy of dating, but it is a nice feeling to know that somebody would want to date you. You know what I mean? So then you can kind of like get that validation and be like, see, like I know this other relationship just ended and I feel like shit and I feel like a loser. However, like this girl would date me, but I don't have the energy or the desire to actually follow through, you know? So I get that.
Who's always on dating apps always chatting with someone new, but it never goes past a few dates. He knows what to say and how to create a spark, but it's just a performance. The moment a connection starts to get real, the moment vulnerability is needed, he pulls away. This is often where ghosting comes in. From his perspective, just disappearing is easier than explaining his inability to go deeper. This behavior is reinforced by a casual dating culture where he can get a temporary dose of intimacy
There
and
definitely
affirmation
is
without ever
casual
putting his
dating these
heart on the
days.
line. He's learned to treat dating like a video game where he plays the first few levels over and over, but never tries to beat the final boss, convinced it's impossible. To the outside world, he might look like a player, but this behavior is often driven by fear, not arrogance. He craves connection, but is terrified of getting burned again. He stops trying in a fundamental way. One of the most subtle signs is a quiet halt in self-improvement. This isn't always about letting himself go physically, though it can be. It's a deeper psychological surrender. The drive to be a better man, to learn new skills, work on his flaws, or expand his horizons, fades because the motivation behind it is gone. Much of our desire for self-improvement is tied to our desire to connect. We want to be a better partner, to share a richer life with someone. When a man gives up on that possibility, the why can disappear. Why
Right.
learn a new recipe if there's no one to share it with? Why work on his communication issues if he doesn't plan on having any deep conversations?
So true.
This can show up in a few
Why
ways.
bother?
He might abandon hobbies and passions that once brought him joy. His life can become a monotonous loop of work, eat, and sleep. He stops making plans for the future because he stopped dreaming of a future with someone in it. This state is closely linked to symptoms of depression, which in men can often appear as anger, irritability, and a profound loss of interest in life.
Yeah.
He isn't just giving up on love, he's giving up on the version of himself that might have been worthy of it.
That's so
We've
true.
covered some heavy ground today, and I'm sure for many of you these signs feel uncomfortably familiar. Maybe you've seen them in a friend, a partner, or a family member,
Right.
or maybe you see them in yourself. If this is hitting home, I want to invite you to share your experience in the comments. There is real power in knowing you're not alone. The first step to taking down these walls is often just admitting they're there. He redefines freedom as a fortress. The final and maybe most deceptive sign is when a man starts to glorify his isolation by calling it freedom. He'll passionately defend
Yeah.
his single life, not as a temporary phase, but as the best way to live. This isn't the quiet joy of someone who genuinely thrives in solitude. It's the defiant justification of a man who has built a prison.
Yeah, I mean, I know what it's saying. Like, it can go either way, right? Like, sometimes you push everybody and everything away, and you're like, I'm so free because I don't have any like attachments, emotional attachments to people. But then at the same time, if that goes too far, it's not healthy either. You cannot be a hermit all the time.
And is trying to convince everyone it's a castle. You'll hear him boast about not having to answer to anyone. He'll talk about how relationships are just a trap filled with drama and how much happier he is without all of it. He frames his solitude as a powerful, conscious choice. But if you listen closely, this freedom is a fortress built out of fear. The fear of being hurt, of not being enough, of responsibility. By calling his solitude a choice, he avoids the painful truth that it might be a result of his past wounds.
Bingo. Bingo, bingo, bingo. Yeah, this one's almost done, and then we'll hit the first topic.
True freedom is about having choices. His version of freedom is about eliminating them. The tragedy is that this freedom is often incredibly lonely. Recent Gallup data highlights that young American men are experiencing high rates of loneliness, with 1 in 4 reporting they feel lonely.
Because
A
most
lot of
men
the
don't
day,
have a partner and
This isn't just
kids.
sad, It's a public health crisis
Or if they
linked
have
to
kids, they don't live
depression,
with them.
anxiety, and even deaths of despair. The man who has given up on love often isn't free at all. He's a prisoner of his past, rattling the bars of his cage and calling it the sound of liberty. The journey back from a series of heartbreaks is one of the toughest there is. The 7 signs we've discussed, from emotional withdrawal to deep-seated cynicism, aren't the signs of a bad or broken man. They're the coping mechanisms of a man in profound pain. It's the armor he's built to protect himself.
That's a good way to put it.
Society has often taught men to be strong and hide their emotions, which means when they're...
I don't really know about that. Like, I don't really know, other than like back when we were really young, like being told not to cry or whatever. But you know what? I really think that has more to do with our parents in the moment not wanting to deal with us breaking down and crying. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, don't cry, don't cry. It's all good, don't cry. But I don't really ever remember being like told, you know, don't cry. Everybody's going to think you're a pussy. You know what I mean? Like, I was told not to cry because it was like inconvenient at the time. I never really grew up thinking like men don't cry. I just don't cry like very often. Have I? Yeah, sure. Sure. Well, I'm sure I will. You know what I mean? But like, it's just not something I do very often. But it's not like I'm sitting there telling myself, don't cry, don't be a bitch. You know, it just doesn't happen.
They're hurting. They may not have the tools or support to process it in a healthy way. Understanding these behaviors is the first step. It's about having empathy, both for the men showing these signs and for the people who are trying to love them. For the man who's given up, the path back isn't easy. It requires the courage to face his pain, take down the walls he's built, and risk being vulnerable again.
Right.
For those who care about him, it takes a huge amount of patience to understand that his distance isn't about your worth, but about his wounds. Love can't be forced, and healing can't be rushed. But by recognizing these signs for what they are, a silent cry from a guarded heart, we open the door,
I like
even
that
just a
line.
crack for compassion to
That was a
find
good
its
line.
way in. And sometimes a single ray of light is all it takes to start finding the way out of the dark.
Most people.
Yep. I mean, I agree with like everything in that. The only thing that I might say is like some of the stuff it might like I might think that it was for a different reason, trying not to be, you know, too cynical or whatever, but you know, geez. All right, I gotta take a leak. We get a little bathroom break, and then when we come back, I'm gonna hit the first topic. Okay, first topic is gonna be about weaponized sympathy. So definitely stick around. Okay. All right, we're back. We're back. Settle down. Settle down. All right. Whew. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get into that first topic. That first topic of the evening. So let me kill this music. And I'm gonna bring up some notes here. So if you're new to the stream, the way that this goes is I talk about the topic, okay? And I basically do it like I'm filming a video because I am. I'm using the clip to then make into an actual video and I upload it onto the YouTube channel, okay? So I'm gonna have like a intro and an outro, and it might sound like I'm recording a video, but it's because I am. Okay. So as I get ready to do that, let me pull up my notes here, make sure it's on the right one. Okay. That's that. And then I'm going to drop the subscriber count and the topic. Take off my headphones for a second. They do not need them. All right, then I'm gonna start recording here because I think that'll help me edit it later. So start recording. Still looking good. Okay. All right, here we go, chat. We live in a world that loves the underdog story. The victim always gets the microphone. But what happens when someone learns how to use that sympathy as a weapon? Today, it's fashionable to believe all victims. Believe all victims. Believe all victims. Which is super frustrating, but not to verify anything, right? So we believe all victims because it's fashionable, but we never ask them to verify anything. And when that pendulum swings too far, innocent men get crushed under it. It's kind of like the underdog illusion. Let me explain. Society is wired to root for the underdog. It feels noble, emotional, human. In past generations, women really were the underdogs, fighting for rights, equality, respect. That was needed. And that progress was earned, without a doubt. But now, many still hold on to the narrative that even while enjoying the full advantages of modern equality, legal protections, career freedom, and social power, we've reached a strange place where power and victimhood coexist. And that combination, it's untouchable. If you're seen as the victim, society gives you the benefit of the doubt before you even speak. And if you're seen as the man in the story, you're already guilty by implication. That's weaponized sympathy. Let's dig a little deeper. The phrase, believe all victims, started with good intentions, but somewhere along the way, it removed the most important step: evidence. Now, an accusation alone can destroy a man's reputation, his career, relationships, long before truth ever enters the room, if it ever even does. The court of public opinion doesn't require proof. It just requires emotion. We don't ask for evidence anymore. We just pick a side. And most people already know which side they're expected to pick. Now let's talk about this for a second. I call it the X factor. Think about it. How many of your exes would give you a glowing review if they were interviewed about you? I can tell you, not many. Breakups come with emotion, bitterness, projection, and selective memory. That's human. That's just the way we're wired. But now, those emotions don't stay private anymore. We've given exes a megaphone, a microphone, a bullhorn, and act like they're not unbiased historians. If your ex calls you controlling, jealous, manipulative, does that make it true? Or is that just how they felt in that moment? Because feelings are not facts, but they're being treated like convictions. There's a digital witch hunt nowadays. And let me explain. That mindset that we just talked about, about your ex feeling a certain way in that moment, and then it sort of warps reality a little bit because emotions become their facts. Okay, let's talk about that mindset. This mindset has gone digital. It's built into platforms now. You've got apps like the Facebook groups like Are We Dating the Same Guy? They position themselves as being pro-victim for women's safety, protecting each other. But what they've really become are digital witch hunts. Women can post anything they want about a man, that he's toxic, that he's manipulative, a narcissist, whatever, with no proof, no verification, and absolutely no accountability. The men being talked about often never even know they're on there. They never even know they're on the app. They never even know they're being talked about in that Facebook group. There's no chance for explanation or defense, no way to show context or tell your side. Imagine a Yelp page for your dating life that you can't see, can't respond to, can't delete, but everyone else can read it. That's what those platforms are. If an app existed where men rated women the same way, society would lose their mind, and rightfully so. But when it's aimed at men, it gets branded as empowerment. Empowerment without accountability isn't progress, it's revenge. These groups aren't just gossip. They shape reputations, jobs, future relationships. Real lives are affected. And they feed off outrage because outrage keeps people scrolling. They've made gossip look like activism and revenge look like justice. And here's the part that's difficult for men. It puts us in a difficult spot. Most men won't even try to defend themselves because in this climate today, defending yourself looks like guilt. If you speak up, you're deflecting. If you stay quiet, you're hiding something. There's no safe move left. So good men stay silent, they pull back, they disengage, and that silence isn't guilt, it's survival. But when honest men stop talking, the liars fill the space. Real accountability has never been about destruction. It's been about correction. It's about truth. You can support victims and still demand proof. Those aren't opposites. That's balance. When we stop demanding truth, we don't just harm men. We harm real victims too. Because when false stories go unchecked, they make people doubt everyone's pain. Believing victims shouldn't mean abandoning evidence. Real justice protects both sides. We built a culture that claims to fight injustice, but it's creating new victims every day. Men who never even get a chance to prove their innocence. We've turned fairness into a popularity contest, and that's dangerous. Because truth isn't decided by public opinion. And it's time we stop confusing emotional stories with truth and start remembering that fairness is not gendered. It's human. Because the goal shouldn't be to cancel people. The goal should be to correct them with facts, compassion, and balance. And I know that that is a hot topic nowadays, but you can absolutely be on the side of victims, but require proof before you label who's the victim. And I know sometimes it feels so much better to just be like, yeah, screw that guy. Screw that guy. I hate men. That reminds me of my ex. I guarantee you, if you interviewed my exes, they're not going to say that oh, it was amazing. Like the relationships end for a reason. They're your ex because things didn't work out. And typically no one has like a glowing review of something that didn't work out, right? Think how many people give a glowing review to a job that they got fired from. You know? They usually like, nah, screw those people. I deserve better. And yeah. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out immensely. And if you're still doom scrolling, check one of these videos out over here because I'm sure it's right up your alley. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. There. So that was first topic done for the evening. And we'll come back to that in a few minutes. We'll come back to the topics in a few minutes. What do you think, chat? What's your opinion on that? Make sure we can hear the music. Put my headphones back on. Yeah, what's your opinion on that? I'd love to hear it in the chat. Drop me a comment for sure. I gotta I gotta update the subscriber count here. All right, so that segment right there was the first topic of the evening, and that was the weaponized sympathy. So weaponized sympathy is crossed off. Let me see if I can do something a little fancy here. Let me see if I can do something a little fancy here with the overlay. But first, let's see if we need. Yeah, we do need to update that subscriber count. 2292. Let's do it. Let's do it. 2292. Boom. Okay, now let me see. Let me see if I can. Let's see. Let's do. Oh my gosh, I'm so fancy. Look at that. 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 Wow. Wow. Checked it off like a pro. Man. Tell you what, my mom would be proud of me. That's for sure. So we got one more topic left. We'll chat about that here in a minute. No permission needed is the name of that one. That one's also a good one. Probably a little bit less of a hot topic. It is what it is. People are a little bit more mellow about those things. It's going to be aimed a little bit more at men. I mean, the other one was too, but this one is a little bit more about like self-improvement and stuff like that. But yeah, it's aimed more at men, and we'll just see how it goes. Play it by ear. Man, I'm almost thinking I got to get that game, that ball pit game that I saw somebody playing earlier, because that'd actually be pretty fun to just hang out, listen to some music, and play some like, you know, old school arcadey style game. That'd be cool. YouTube's so weird sometimes. Like sometimes I'll get a comment, or like on the back end I'll see that I have a comment on like a video or a short, but then I can't actually view it, and I'm assuming it's because it's like spam or something like that, or maybe it got filtered out because they said something like, I don't know, ridiculous to me. Yeah, it makes me go like, what? Why can't I see it? I want to know what it is. Yeah, like I want to see what it is, you know? The other interesting thing, too, that it happens with YouTube is I don't know why, but the past two streams, so I multi-stream to YouTube like horizontal and YouTube vertical in the shorts, and for whatever reason, the past couple times, like the first time that I streamed to shorts, it was like all my traffic came from shorts, and it was like 40 people or something like that. But the past like two times that I've done it, I've gotten like hardly anybody, and I'm like, I wonder if that's because. Yeah, 4 people have popped through the YouTube Shorts, and I don't know. They're doing something on the back end soon, anyways, about like putting them together, and I wonder if that has something to do with it. Like suddenly, the way that I'm doing it no longer is pushing the shorts version out to the algorithm. So I almost want to just like go live on just the shorts feed next time, but I don't know. But at the same time, like like shorts feed doesn't give me, it doesn't give me, what am I gonna call it here? It doesn't give me the watch time hours, you know, which is unfortunate. Just move that all around. I move this. I want. How do I move it up? I guess maybe I can't. Maybe it's got to be that way, which would be a bummer. Oh, I see. Okay. It's not what I wanted, but yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, how do I move that? That's that. Hmm. Not sure. Not sure. All right, let's hit the second topic, shall we? Kill the music again. Take my headphones off again. Kind of hurts my ear too when I do that because I have to like listen to it. I have to kind of like put the thing off to the side, you know, so I can like hear myself talk. Because if not, it's way too loud. Okay, let's kill sub count. Let's kill that. Boom, boom. All right. Oh yeah, gotta hit record. Trying something new with that. Let me tell you, there is no gatekeeper holding you back. Just the voice in your head saying, wait, wait for the right time, wait for approval, wait for someone to believe in you. But what if waiting is exactly what has been killing your progress? Because here's the truth, no one's coming to hand you permission. You've got to write your own permission slip. The world doesn't owe you validation. It's waiting to see if you'll move without it. From the time we're little, we are trained to ask, can I go outside? Can I use the bathroom? Can I try this? Every system, school, work, even relationships, rewards compliance. We get so used to being told what's allowed that when the structure disappears, we freeze. No one's there to tell us when it's time to move. So we sit there, overthinking, doubting, waiting for someone to say, yeah, man, go for it. That's why a lot of men stay stuck. They don't lack motivation, they lack authorization. Most men aren't lazy. They're just stuck waiting for someone to tell them that it's okay to begin. Waiting feels safe. It's disguised as patience, planning, or being not ready yet. But underneath that comfort is fear. Fear of being wrong, fear of looking foolish, fear of failing publicly. Every time you postpone action, you reinforce the story that you cannot trust yourself. And that becomes habit. You start second guessing everything, your ideas, your instincts, your next step. Meanwhile, the guys who just try, who fail, learn, adjust, repeat, they build something you can't fake: momentum. The longer you wait for perfect timing or approval, the more life passes you by. You grow through action, not hesitation. While you're waiting for permission, someone else is learning by doing. Needing permission is really just a symptom of not trusting yourself. You don't believe you can make a call, a decision, take a hit, and then recover from it. But that's how self-trust is built, through evidence, proving it to yourself. You start small, follow through on what you said you'd do, make the uncomfortable call, show up to train when you don't feel like it, finish what you start, even if no one's watching, even if no one knows you even started it. Each action is a vote for the kind of man you're becoming. And over time, those votes turn into your identity. Self-trust doesn't come from hype, it comes from receipts. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you add another layer of proof that you can depend on yourself. And once you build that internal proof, you stop chasing external validation because you already know who you are and what you can handle, what you're capable of. And I guarantee you it's so much more than you actually think. Self-trust is built in silence, not by talking about what you'll do, but by doing it. This is where the change begins. This is the practical part. Start before you feel ready. Ready is a lie your fear tells you to delay your own growth. It's that parachute behind you, slowing you down. So move quietly. Stop announcing every idea. Let your results speak. Define your own success. If you measure yourself by other people's standards, you'll always be performing and never becoming. Ask better questions. Replace can I with how will I? Those questions, they keep you waiting. Right? Can I keeps you waiting. How will I gets you moving. Be your own authority. Stop outsourcing your direction to people who haven't lived your life. No one else is qualified to sign off on your potential. That's your job. You don't need permission to lead your own life. You need the courage to be misunderstood while you do it. When you stop seeking approval, you stop living on other people's timelines. You stop performing for applause and you start moving for purpose. That's the real shift from boy to man. From asking, am I doing it right? To saying, I'll figure it out. You don't need a signature, a blessing, or someone to co-sign. You just need to start walking. The people who once doubted you will start asking for your advice, but only after you stop asking for their permission. Stop waiting for permission. Move first and never look back to see who noticed, because it does not matter. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Seth. If you got something out of this video, please like, comment, subscribe. It helps the channel out immensely. And if you're still doom scrolling, check out one of these videos over here because I'm sure it's right up your alley. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Boom. There we go. There we go. There we go. Second topic done for the evening. Hell yeah. That was easy peasy. That was easy peasy. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yes, I kind of think like, next, I don't know, maybe one time this week, or maybe next week now, because it's Thursday. Maybe sometime next week, I'll actually go live one of these evenings just to kind of mess around a little bit, but I'll go live only on the shorts feed and just see if I have a lot of people, like a lot of traffic, because then that'll tell me by doing both streams at the same time, something changed in YouTube and they don't like it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. It is what it is. But, yeah. That was a good stream. I think I'm going to call it there. Thank you so much for watching. Again, let's get a subscriber count. Let's get where are we at? I keep opening ChatGPT and not the Studio app. Oh, nice. Nice. We are at 2295. 2295. But I won't even bother updating it because next time I go live, hopefully it's way more than that. I'd be super happy with that. So yeah, again, thank you everybody who has subscribed over the past month. It's been quite an explosion in growth, which is awesome. I stream every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's like the official show where we have topics and we react to videos and stuff like that. And then sometimes throughout the week, you'll catch me just pop on and play some games and stuff like that and just kind of chat with people. So make sure that if you are subscribed, you hit the notification bell so you'll see when I go live so that you can join me and then join in on this conversation that we're having. So yeah, again, thank you so much. I will catch you guys